Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to go over types of statistical studies. There are three statistical studies that we will analyze in this class. The first one is observational study, the second one is a survey, and the third is an experiment. And they each do something different, and they each have very important things that we need to include in order to create well-designed studies. The first study we're going to analyze is an observational study. Observational studies are designed to just observe subjects as they are. You do not want to interfere at all or manipulate the subjects in the study. You're not going to influence them in any way. Your goal is to learn some sort of characteristic about that population, and you also need your samples to be selected randomly in order for your observational study to be representative of the population. Your goal is to always make sure that the people that you select for your sample are randomly selected, because then they will allow you to generalize to the population. Again, observational studies really you cannot manipulate at all. So all you're doing is watching what people are doing, whether that's watching what kind of music they buy or music they listen to or types of books they read. You are not doing anything to interfere with them or influence them. Surveys are also an observational study. The only thing that's added with this type of observational study is that you will be asking questions or creating a poll. Although you're somewhat interfering with this observational study, you're not going to interfere in the sense that you're not going to influence their question responses. You want to make sure that you are just asking them a question and not influencing their response in any way. You also want to make sure that your questions are clear and thorough so that you can get the answers that you're looking for. Again, for a survey, you're going to want to make sure that your subjects are selected randomly so that you can generalize your study to the population. Experiments involved randomly assigning subjects or people to treatments. Now, what should happen is that you should have already gotten a random selection of people, and then you are going to then randomly assign them to one or the other group. One of them probably is going to have a placebo pill, and the other one will probably have the treatment. So it's really important to randomly assign your subjects. So say you had 200 people or things that you were analyzing, that means you would randomly assign 100 to group 1 and 100 to group 2, and then see the response. The response would be what would be happening after the treatment was imposed. So whether you're analyzing a certain drug or sunlight on a plant, that is what you're going to analyze. That's your response. The treatment would be the sunlight or the drug. This is also the only study that can conclude a cause and effect relationship. Also, in order to conclude cause and effect, you need random assignment involved in the study. So these are your three important things for experiments. You need subjects that are randomly assigned to treatments, and then you're going to analyze a response. The last thing I want to talk about in this video is how to avoid bias. You want to make sure that your studies are avoiding bias in any way, shape, or form. Bias can make your study not be valid, and it could also make the results not as representative to the population. So the first thing you want to do to make sure you avoid bias is select your subject randomly. You want to make sure that you're not selecting one group over the other. You want to make sure that everyone has an equal chance of being selected for the study. You also want to make sure that you use random assignment in experiments, because if you are grabbing a group of people, you want to make sure that every single person has an equal chance at getting one treatment or the placebo or another treatment. They could be more than one treatment. There are types of bias. There's undercoverage, non-response, and voluntary bias. Voluntary response means that you're only getting volunteers to respond to your study. This could be a problem because certain people may want to be involved in the study for certain reasons that may impact your responses. Non-response means that you are getting people that are unable to participate in the survey or study, and this may affect your study very highly. Under coverage, this means that some members of the population aren't represented in the study, and this is why we really want to make sure we have randomness involved so that we cover all types of people, things, or whatever you are analyzing. So that's all that you really need to know about the types of studies we're going to do in this class, and I hope you do well with reading lesson 85 and answering the questions.